Do you have what it takes to enter and survive the Dark Spire? If you enjoyed role-playing games in the 80s, this game is for you. It's awesome. Everything about this game oozes with brilliance, just like a monster living in a dungeon, which is where you spend the majority of your time in this game, crawling through dungeons, through the Dark Spire. It's such a throwback to the old school role-playing games where you create a character, assemble your party, level your characters up, and go and attack monsters with axes and bows and arrows, and use magic spells, and it's funny. This is published by Atlus, the same people we have to thank for publishing the amazing Tokyo Beatdown for the Nintendo DS. While I normally spend more time playing arcade-style games, driving games, or shooters, I love role-playing games. And when I was a kid, I'm an only child, and back in the 80s, I spent a lot of time playing RPGs on the computer. I remember that old monochromatic computer monitor style, and the color palette in this game is reminiscent of those really old computer screens. The Dark Spire is not just for those of us who played role-playing games in the 80s and Dungeons and Dragons and stuff. This game should appeal to anybody who wants to play an adventure role-playing game, because it eliminates all the BS and gets straight to the point. For starters, the art direction in this game is terrific. It relies on that old-school comic book and Dungeons and Dragons style, so there's no needlessly silly, ludicrous, played-out, childish anime characters in here. There's no overly complicated leveling up system or ridiculous story which has been lost in translation from its original Japanese. There's not a bunch of jackasses that you have to deal with online. This is straightforward attack goblins and win chests of gold, use the gold to buy things like better armor, and then go attack stronger goblins and scoundrels. I love the fact that some of the bad guys are called scoundrels. I haven't seen that word used with such force since The Empire Strikes Back, and it's great to see scoundrels in full effect. Do I even need to mention that the music is awesome? Because it is. If the late 80s are not old school enough for you, don't worry, there's a classic mode which throws it back even further. For fans of time-killing, life-sucking role-playing games, this one is huge. I'm probably 12 or 13 hours into the game and I've barely scratched the surface. I've covered about 3 levels, and it takes a long time to get your guys built up to where they can really withstand a fight. What I like most about the Dark Spire is not just the style and the fact that these designers took a chance to make a game like this, and have done a tremendous job. I like that this game allows you to use your imagination, just like the old video games did. Everything now focuses on graphics and online gameplay. The Dark Spire focuses on storytelling and dungeon-slaying action that takes place in your imagination, because there's no complicated cinematics in this game. When you encounter an evil party of mushrooms that are trying to kill you, the camera doesn't spin around your party 6 times. And magic spells take place with words instead of 45 seconds of repetitive movie-like cutscenes trying to repeatedly show how big the giant blue fireball with dragon wings really is. It all takes place in your head, using your imagination. I like that, and I miss that about these old games. Back before they were able to dazzle everybody with cinematics. I have my party assembled, and in my mind I've envisioned them. My thief is named Bolfar. He looks like a 1970s undercover cop in my head. My most powerful character, who's at the front of my party. You can choose how you want your party to go through the dungeons, in what formation. I have one guy in front and then 3 in the back row. Wind Squid is my strongest member. He's my warrior dwarf, who looks like any kind of cartoon dwarf from the 1980s in my head. I have a mage that's an elf who uses magic for attack purposes. That's Truxton. And then Death Trex is my priest. In my head, he's like a robotic sorcerer that has Death Trex written out in gangster lettering on his chest. That's my party that wanders the dungeons. Scoundrels, beware. The action unfolds through text on screen, most of which is written in a very tongue-in-cheek manner that's somewhat sarcastic but always excellent. Ooh, I've encountered something. You play the game using your D-pad and buttons. This game does not use the stylus. It works really well. You can go through all the commands at lightning speed, and saving the game takes about a second, so it's really rapid fire for those of us without patience, keeping in mind that the game itself will take you quite some time. I have no idea how large this is, but given that I've played as long as I have and my strongest character has about 40 hit points, and there's 4 digits available for hit points, I figure I could play this game for a long time. The Dark Spire is amazing. Buy this game so you give them more money so that they make more. We need more games like this. And earlier when I encountered the Maiden, I tried to use all these different things I'd collected in the dungeons and through the Dark Spire, like a necklace and some scrap metal, and I couldn't figure out what to do. And it was not until I was editing this review that I read everything again, and it occurred to me I should actually try using a healing potion on her, which I'll show you how that unfolds through the classic mode. Buy this game.